السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. أصدقاء حسن الأغنياء موجودون في البيت. The rich friends of Hassan are present in the house. Here الأصدقاء and الأغنياء are broken plurals. If you want to understand and know the scale of these two broken plurals as well as many other broken plurals, inshallah, and be able to break down the sentence which I mentioned earlier in the video and form many sentences like that, then you need to stick along inshallah until the end of the video. Let's get started. If you are looking to be able to read classical Arabic books with understanding and want to be able to start understanding the meaning of the Quranul Kareem and be able to converse in Arabic, then you come to the right place. Today, alhamdulillah, we reached chapter 7 of the book, which we are covering in its entirety, inshallah. And today is the second part of broken plurals. As with the previous chapter, this chapter is also dedicated to broken plurals, but it will cover some new skills which was covered in the lesson before, and it will give you some new vocabulary and new translation exercises to work through. The video is divided into two parts. The first part, I will give you the scales of various different plurals with examples, and in the second part, inshallah, we will do the translation exercises. If you would like to skip to the exercises, then you could click on the link in the timeline and go directly to the exercises. If you're watching the whole video, I will highly recommend that you watch the translation exercises because that's the real deal. As we covered in the last chapter, the Arabic grammarians use the scale fa'ala as the base scale for all the words in Arabic. If you want further detail, you could click on the link which is going to pop on the top right now. The first scale I would like to take you through is fu'ala'u. Fu'ala'u. On this scale we have words such as wuzara'u. Wuzara'u. Wuzara'u is a plural of wazirun. Wazirun. Wazirun means a minister. Wuzara'u, it's broken plural. The fa represents the first root letter, ayn represents the second root letter, and lam represents the third root letter. Then on this scale we also have umara'u. Umara'u, which is plural of amirun. Amirun, which means a prince. Again, the root letters are alif, mim, and ra. Then we also have sufara'u. Sufara'u, which is the plural of safirun. Safirun means ambassador. And as you may have noticed, there's no tanween on these broken plurals because these are ghair munsarif. Again, ghair munsarif, I've covered that in one of the previous chapters. You can check all the lessons we've done so far in the checklist above. The second scale is af'ila'u. Af'ila'u. Again, this scale is ghair munsarif, i.e. these are diptotes, what we call in English. Diptotes, which means they don't take tanween, and there's some other rules which I've covered previously, so I'm not going to go through again. On this scale we have anbiya'u. On this scale we have anbiya'u. Anbiya'u, which is plural of nabiyun. Nabiyun means a prophet. On this scale we also have astiqa'u. Astiqa'u. Astiqa is the broken plural of sadiqun. Sadiqun means a friend. Astiqa'u, friends. Then we also have aqriba'u. Aqriba'u, which is the plural of qaribun. The third scale I would like to cover is fu'lanun. Fu'lanun. This scale is munsarif, so the word takes tanween. So on this scale we have buldanun. Buldanun, which is plural of baladun. Baladun. Baladun means a country or a town. Then we also have qudbanun. Qudbanun, which is plural of qadibun. Qadibun. Qadibun means a stick, a twitch, or a staff. In the modern usage, it means railway track. All the broken plurals we have covered so far in this lesson and in the previous lessons were for triliteral words, words which have three root letters. As I mentioned in the last lesson, it's difficult to guess the plural from the triliteral word. However, that's not the case for quadrilateral words. Quadrilateral, quad means four. Quadrilateral means words which have four root letters, because we can guess the plurals from the singular. For example, words which are on the scale of fa'lalun, fa'lilun, and fa'lalatun, in the singular they have the broken plural form of fa'alilu, 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 which is ghair munsarif, diptote. I'm gonna give example of each just to break it down and make it easier for you guys. For example, for the scale fa'lalun, we have jawharun in singular. Jawharun. Here all the 4 letters are root letters. Jawharun means a jewel. Its plural is gonna be on the scale of fa'alilu, as we mentioned before. So we can have jawahiru, jawahiru. So fa'lalun, fa'alilu. Fa'lalun is singular, fa'alilu is the broken plural. Jawharun is singular, jawahiru is the broken plural. So the second scale we mentioned was fa'lilun, fa'lilun in singular, right? On this scale we have majlisun, majlisun. Majlisun means a council or a gathering. The plural is going to be on the same scale as the previous word, i.e. fa'alilu, like we had jawahiru. So if you make the word, you should get majalisu, majalisu. Fa'alilu, majalisu. Majalisu is the broken plural of majlisun. Also we have same scale, fa'alilu, we have tajribatun, tajribatun. Here, as you notice, the only difference is there's feminine ta marbuta at the end. Tajribatun means experiment, as with Urdu. And the plural is going to be tajaribu, tajaribu. Again, on the same scale, fa'alilu, fa'alilu. This should help you to acquire more broken plurals, inshallah, of any of the triliteral forms you've come across. On this scale, we also have manzilun, manzilun, which is singular, meaning a house or a place of dwelling. Plural is on the same scale, manazilu, manazilu. So we also have maktabun and maktabatun. Maktabun is an office, maktabatun means a library. And both of these fit the scales we are talking about. The first one, maktabun, is on the scale of fa'lalun, fa'lalun. And maktabatun is on the scale of fa'lalatun. Maktabun means an office, maktabatun means a library. Both take a plural of fa'alilu, makatibu, makatibu. One key thing to note about the quadrilateral words we just covered is that none of them had the mud letters, i.e. letters of prolongation, such as alif, waw or ya. So fa'lalun, fa'lilun and fa'lalatun. All of these in singular don't have any mud letters. This is important because the second form of the broken plurals for quadrilateral nouns, which we're going to cover, normally has a mud letter, a letter of prolongation, i.e. alif, waw or ya, after its third radical, third root letter in its singular. Let me give you an example to make it easy. Sultanun, sultanun. Sultan means a leader, and obviously singular. The word has 4 root letters. The first letter is sin, second is lam, third is ta, and fourth is noon. And alif after ta, after the third letter, is additional letter. It's the letter of mud, prolongation. What that means is when alif is placed after fatha, it makes the word longer, right? We learned that in tajweed, so I'm not going to go through the science of tajweed, science of recitation of Quran, because that's another science in itself. But it's sultanun, and its plural is going to be on the form of fa'alilu, fa'alilu. So this form is ghair munsarif. So any word which has 4 root letters and has a mud after its third root letter, this word we usually take a broken plural on the form of fa'alilu, fa'alilu. So sultanun, salatinu. Sunduqun, here the waw after dal is the additional letter and it's a letter of mud. Sunduqun, sanadiqu, sanadiqu. Again on the scale of fa'alilu. Sanduqun means a box. Again another one is maktubun, maktubun, which means a letter. And the broken plural is going to be, as you guessed it, makatibu, makatibu. Fa'alilu, makatibu. Also finjanun, finjanun. Again after jim, third root letter, there's mud, alif. Finjanun. Plural is going to be fanajinu, fanajinu. The next one is mandilu, mandilu. Its broken plural is manadilu, manadilu. So simply, to summarize, two criteria need to be met for this scale. Number one, 4 root letters. Number two, a mud letter after the third root letter. And the previous one we covered, there was no letter of mud anywhere in the word in its singular form. Another scale is fa'alilatun. Fa'alilatun. This scale is used for Arabicized words. What that basically means is these are foreign words which have been incorporated into Arabic. It is even so if these words have a mud letter after the third root letter, as we just covered now. For example, tilmizun, which means a student, tilmizun. It's a Persian word which has been incorporated into Arabic. To make it plural, we're going to put it on the scale of fa'alilatun, fa'alilatun. So it's going to become talamizatun, talamizatun. However, talmiz also takes the plural of talamizu, talamizu. So it takes talamizatun and talamizu. Talamizu is on the scale of fa'alilu. We just covered that earlier. Also, we have ustazun. Ustazun. It means a teacher. Again, it's a Persian Farsi word. To make a broken plural out of this, we're going to put it on the scale of fa'alilatun, as discussed. So it's going to become asatizatun. Asatizatun. Notice here, the hamza here is not an additional letter. Rather, it's one of the root letters. The root letters are alif, sin, ta, and za. Asatizatun. Asatizatun. It also takes the form of asatizu. Asatizu, meaning teachers, plural again. So two plurals for ustazun. Ustazun means a teacher. It's asatizu and asatizatun. Asatizatun is on the scale of fa'alilatun and asatizu is on the scale of fa'alilu. Fa'alilu. If you notice the two words we have covered on this scale, both had a mud letter after the third root letter. Ustazun and talmizun both had a mud letter after the third radical, after the third root letter. So talmizun in singular, there was ya after the mim. Mim was the third root letter. And in ustazun, again singular, there was alif after ta. Ta was the third root letter. Despite that being the case, they take the scale of fa'alilatun. Fa'alilatun. Because the consideration is given to them being foreign words which have been incorporated into Arabic. Even though it is possible for them to be on the scale of fa'alilu. Fa'alilu as well. I'll give another two words, but this time these words will not have an alif after the third radical. But they will be simply other words which have been incorporated into Arabic from foreign languages. For example, in singular we have usqufun. Usqufun. To make it plural, we're going to put it on the scale of fa'alilatun. Fa'alilatun. So it's going to become asaqifatun. Asaqifatun. It's a Greek word meaning bishop. In Greek is episkopos. Episkopos, which has been incorporated into Arabic. We also have siyadilatun. Siyadilatun, which is plural of sayyidaliyun. Sayyidaliyun. Sayyidaliyun means a chemist or pharmacist. I'm not sure from which language this has been taken, so if you know, please do let me know. There are some other words I think which requires special mention, so I will mention them here. Everything I've discussed so far in the lesson and I will be discussing, you could find it in the book, in the PDF provided below on page 57 on chapter 7, inshallah. So we have ibnun. Ibnun means a son. The plural can be banuna and banina. Banuna is in the rough nominative state. Banina is in accusative and genitive state. This is considered san masculine plural. But we also have abna'un. Abna'un, which is a broken plural. So for ibnun means a son, we have abna'un banuna, which is when it's rough state. And when it's jar state or nasb state, i.e. when it's accusative or genitive, it takes the form banina. Or we could have simply abna'un, broken plural. Then for daughter, we have ibnatun or bintun, which has a broken plural of banatun. Banatun. Another word is akhun. Akhun means a brother. Akhwanun is a plural or ikhwatun. Both are broken plurals. Then we also have ukhtun. Ukhtun is sister. Its broken plural is akhwatun. Akhwatun. Abun. Abun means father. Aba'un is its broken plural. Then ummun means a mother. Ummahatun is its broken plural. And you must have come across these words a lot, especially in Quran Kareem. So hopefully they'll be easy to remember, inshallah. Now, the second part is doing the translation exercises. So please don't miss out, stick along, let's get started.
You can find the exercise on page 61 of the PDF provided in the link below. And if you go a page above, you could see the additional vocabulary apart from what we already covered in the chapter, which will be used in the exercises. So you can memorize this in your own time. Question 1. كان قضيب في يد المالك قبل ساعة. كان is verb to be for the past tense. قضيب is nominative. It has two dhammas. It's what we call in Arabic in rough state, or in English we call it nominative state. And as we covered before, is the subject of kana is file. File is always in the nominative state, in the rough state. Kana qadibun means a stick was. Qadib means a stick or staff. Fi yaddil maliki. Fi means in, yad means hand. Here, yad is genitive, is majroor. It has a kasra because it has a harf jar before it. Fi means in. So whenever a harf jar comes, and after that, when the noun comes, it's always in genitive, always in majroor state. So it means in the hand. Al-Maliki means king. And as you notice, yad only had one kasra because it's mudaf, and mudaf always has one kasra. And al-Maliki is mudaf ilayhi. It's majroor as well. And because the mudaf ilayhi is definite with alif lam, the king, the hand automatically becomes definite as well. If you translate it, it means in the hand of the king. I've already covered all these rules in my previous lessons, so you click on the link above to look at my playlist and watch the relevant lessons if anything doesn't make sense. Qabla means before. Sa'atin means an hour. So qabla is like a preposition. Sa'atin means an hour. It means before an hour. So if you translate it becomes the stick was in the hand of the king an hour ago. Number 2. ذكر السفير الإنجليزي الأخبار الطيبة عن السفن. ذكر means he mentioned. It's the past tense verb as we covered before, third person. ذكر السفير, it means the ambassador. And here is the fa'il, or what we call the subject of ذكر, because of it being nominative, it having dhamma. So the ambassador mentioned al-Ingleziyu. Again, this has one dhamma and it's definite. So was as-Safir. And it comes after as-Safir. So it fulfills the criteria of a sifa, of an adjective. So it's the adjective of as-Safiru. So the English ambassador mentioned. Al-Ingleziyu, as you probably worked out, means English. The English ambassador mentioned al-akhbar at-tayyibata. Here is a broken plural here on the scale of af'alun. Af'alun. Khabarun was singular, akhbarun it is plural. So khabarun was singular, akhbarun is plural. It means news. And it has a fatha, which makes it accusative, or what we call in Arabic mansoob. This makes it the object of the verb zakara. Okay, so the English ambassador mentioned news. At-tayyibata, here it has a fatha again, and it's definite like the previous word, and it comes after it. So they match in both indefiniteness and in case. They also match in gender because at-tayyibata is feminine singular because it has the feminine ta marbuta, as you can see here. And al-akhbara because it's broken plural and it refers to non-human beings. It's considered feminine singular for agreement purposes, as we covered in the last chapter. At-tayyibata means good news. Anis sufuni. Anis sufuni, about the ships. Sufun is the broken plural of safinatun, as I covered before in the last chapter. Anis sufuni, about the ships. And it's genitive because an is harf, which means about. So if you translate the whole sentence, the English ambassador mentioned the good news about the ships. Please let me know how you find the speed of this lesson and how you find my explanation. So inshallah, we can make improvements going forward. Number 3, أصدقاء حسن الأغنياء موجودون في البيت مع أقرباء الأمير العربي. The first word, أصدقاء, is a broken plural, as we covered earlier today. It's on the scale of أفعلاء. It's a plural of صديق. صديق means a friend, أصدقاء means friends. It's a diptode, as we mentioned before. It's in nominative state. Right. It has one dhamma. As you noted, Hassan is a proper noun. Because of that, it's definite. Asdiqai automatically becomes definite. Hence, the next word, al-aghniya'u, is the adjective of asdiqa'u, and it takes alif lam. Al-aghniya'u is the plural of ghaniyun, broken plural. Ghaniyun. And here it's nominative, same case as asdiqa'u. And both are on the same scale as well. Af'ila'u. And both are plural, both are nominative, and both are definite. Okay, the only reason why asdiqa doesn't have alif lam because it's a mudaf. A mudaf can't take alif lam. So it's considered definite because of Hasanin, it's mudaf alayhi being definite. The rich friends of Hasan. Al-aghniya'u means rich. Mawjuduna. Here is the signed masculine plural. Mawjuduna is the plural of mawjudun. It means present. It's plural because it's the predicate of what has come before. So the friends of Hassan are present. Fil bayti, in the house. Fi means in, al bayt means in the house. In the house. And by now you probably worked out why al bayt has a kasra. Because fi is qadr. Ma aqriba il amiri. Again, another broken plural on the same scale as the previous two. Af'ila'u. So ma means with, aqriba'i means relative. And here is mudaf and amiri is mudaf alayhi. And al-arabi is the adjective of al-amiri. I will explain in a minute why. So ma aqriba il-amiri, with the relatives of the prince. Al-amir means the prince. And al-arabi is singular, hence it can't be the adjective of aqriba'u because aqriba'u is plural. So it has to be adjective of al-amiri because it matches al-amiri in all the necessary components, i.e. in being definite, both having alif lam, both having a kasra at the end, both are being genitive basically, and both being masculine. If you translate the whole sentence, the rich friends of Hassan are present in the house with the relatives of the Arab prince. This sentence is a bit difficult, so don't get put off by it. The key thing is practice. So I will encourage everybody to attempt all the questions in this exercise. And if you do get stuck, just put it in the comments. You just put in the question number and I will answer you, inshallah. Number 4. أخذت البنت جواهر جميلة من الوزير. أخذ means to take. أخذت البنت means the girl took. Because al-bint is a subject being nominative having a dhamma. And here it has a kasra. Originally it was أخذت. The ta only take a kasra because it has to join directly with the lam, as we covered in lesson 1. أخذت البنت, the girl took جواهر. Jawahira is the plural of jawharun, which means a jewel. Here jamilatan is feminine singular because it's the adjective of jawahira. The only reason why jawahira has a fatha and doesn't have tanween is because it's a diploid, it's ghair munfarif, as I covered in the previous chapter. So the girl took beautiful jewels min al waziri, from the minister. Wazir means minister, and min means from. Min al waziri, from the minister. Min is hatyar, hence wazir is genitive, has a kasra. Translating the whole sentence, the girl took beautiful jewels from the minister. Muhammadun sallallahu alayhi wasallam Nabiyul Arabi. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the prophet of the Arabs. Muhammad is a proper noun and it doesn't require alif lam. Istafna, hence is the subject. Nabiyul Arabi is the idafa construction and is the khabar. Nabiyu means prophet, it's the mudaf, and al-Arabi is mudaf ilayhi, the prophet of the Arabs. And al-Arab is a broken plural of Arabiyun. Muhammad is the prophet of the Arabs. That's all, guys, inshallah. Attempt the rest of the questions. You could also attempt the next exercise, which is a bit more difficult, perhaps because it's from English into Arabic. If you made it this far, then please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss out on any future videos. I'll see you guys soon, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan.